I'm Darlene Washington, and this is Spiritually Intriguing, the Church Edition. Here we are once again with Pastor Charles A. Floyd II of New Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church in Gary, Indiana. Pastor.
Good evening.
My pleasure. So here we are talking about black film. This is a hot topic for some people, but I know it's a passion for me. So I'm going to tell you what my issue is right now. So black film is out there, and it's important to who? Black people, of course. I think it should be important to all people. Any story is worthy of a listener. You know, it takes nothing to listen. You don't have to agree, but you can just listen. What does it hurt? Larenz Tate touts black film as not being as successful as it should be because Hollywood does not know how to promote it if it is not stereotyped. And I believe this to be true, along with the fact that we're talking about black people and who cares attitude included with that. And I don't know. What do you think? Has black film progressed or digressed?
I think black films largely have progressed. Back in the day, there was Step and Fetch It, Amos and Andy, very Mammy, these very stereotyped films that portrayed blacks the way society wanted them to be seen and the way society said they should be seen. There are a number of really, really good films that have demonstrated black life in a very positive manner. However, are they making all of the money that they could? I don't think so. And just thinking about two films with the same actor. The one film, The Preacher's Wife, with Denzel Washington, who's a top earner. That film did nothing. It was a feel good film. It was a joy to watch. But at the box office, it really didn't do a whole lot. But his film after that, American Gangster, that made a ton of money. Why?
And Training Day.
And Training Day. Why? Because this was sensational. The black man robbing and killing and all of that sort of thing. Well, people want to see that because that is the stereotype that people want to put black people in. One of the most successful television shows that was for black people was The Cosby Show. When you had the Huxtables, Dr. Claire and Heathcliff Huxtable. They showed a black power couple.
Is so freaking awesome.
He is absolutely awesome, and he's hated also because he tells the truth.
He does.
But black films have come a long way. But are we where we could be? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, I come from an era where I was trying to get some films produced, and at the time that the places that I was working and the places that the people I was being exposed to, all they wanted was slave films. They just wanted to promote all these slave films. And I'm like, okay, slavery happened some years ago, and many people argue it's just changed form. Okay, we ain't gonna go there. That's another topic for another show. But the point is, we have to deal with what's going on now, and so we want to project black life as it is now. And black life is more than just positive images. There's so many things going on, and if you're gonna tell the story, tell a realistic story. Don't in which we are doing that. But I'm speaking of how far we have come from these, only showing the slave films and
the black exploitation films,
right?
Of the 70s
and all of this. It's like, okay, can we show some realistic life here? And I want to see more films about the students that are getting into the Ivy League schools, and people who are making positive strides. Like there was Happiness, the Will Smith movie. That's a very good example.
In Pursuit of Happiness.
In Pursuit of Happiness. That was a very good example of a negative life turned positive, a struggle, a human struggle that turned into a glamorous, fabulous, wondrous life. And that's the kind of stuff, yes, I want to see that, but I also want to see the other things that are going on in the community. It does nothing to ignore it, and it's not a point to glamorize it, but it is a point to just display it so that people can see what is going on, so we can get a real depiction of, characters out here and some of the things that different people are going through. Because my story is not the same as an Ivy League girl's story. Pastor Floyd's story is not the same as someone else's story. No one's story is going to be the same. And each story has some type of value that can be passed on to another human being to get to the next level. And that is why I feel like all films and all stories are admissible and worthy of a viewer and a listener.
If I can ask a question, if I can play the proverbial devil's advocate, what you're promoting does not sound like it's going to be commercially, economically viable. Films are designed to make money.
Right.
And in order for a film to make money, you have to entice people to come and see it because they have a certain connection.
Right.
It's boring to see somebody that's black go to an Ivy League college.
Right.
Unless you can get the drama and the struggle. You got to pull the audience
in.
in.
Well, that's part of making a film. In order for a film to be watched, it has to be engaging. So you need some sex, some violence. You need, well, not necessarily. There are films films which have been very successful without these catalysts in them. But if you want an immediate reaction from society, it has to be a very intangible value represented in that film. It has to really resonate, permeate through the screen and get into, your heart and your soul and your skin. And it can do that with showing drama. I mean, you take these reality shows that are out here now. We got the crazy black chicks reality shows. We've got a whole lot of shows out here that are projecting or attempting to project what they are calling real life. And these shows have been out for a while, but they've now just become just powerful. They're just all powerful now compared to some years ago. So, but in my opinion, they're still not depicting real life. They're depicting someone's life, but not necessarily everyone's life. So it is a depiction when you have the Real Housewives of Atlanta and you have Love and Hip Hop in LA. Some of these shows are very entertaining because the characters are so outrageous. It's like, why do you behave that way? What is wrong with you? So it has that entertainment value. But then what are you really learning in terms of how to, behave like a man or a woman, or I don't know. I mean, it's entertainment, and that's what's going to get the viewer on the screen. I mean, to watch the screen, entertainment. So it has to be entertaining.
Movies are very powerful mediums. They teach messages.
Yeah.
And the real question is, what message is this teaching?
Yeah.
That in order to be able to get ahead, you have to use your body. In order to be able to get ahead, you got to be a gangster and you're killing people and robbing people.
Right.
It all depends on what message you're trying to get across.
Right.
I think more positive messages should be seen in black films, because if we do not portray a positive message, we're going to adapt and adopt the message that's being given to us. Also off topic, but when you go into the store, you don't see a whole lot of black dolls. You see white dolls.
Right.
Well, our children become used to that because that's what they see.
Right.
But then when you have African American dolls on the market, they don't sell too well.
Right. That's because subliminally we have taught our children, and white people have taught their children subliminally that image is a superior image. It is the golden, wonderful, precious, everything image.
Can we strip away all of this verbosity that you're doing? How about this? White is right.
There you go. You can put it that way. But what I would like to see, and which it is happening, there are little Asian dolls now, and there are little black girl dolls and things of this nature. And they try to make them as little crews, little doll crews of different races, and that's a good start for our children. And it has to continue that way, but we need a Beyonce doll.
Okay.
We need a Michelle Obama doll, and I know that she already has a doll. I've seen it out there, but I'm saying we need to have a doll like that in the stores. What would be the reaction to that then if you put a Barbie doll and a Beyonce doll and a Michelle Obama doll in front of some kids? What will happen then? And the Barbie doll has to be white. Okay, let's not mistake that. So, and then and let's put some Asian princesses and some Indian princesses. Let's put what doll do you think they would choose? What doll?
Probably the Barbie doll.
Look at that. You never know. That's what our race, that's what our community and our society is doing to our kids right now. It's crazy. We gotta fix that. Pardon me. Chicago is my hometown.
Same here.
Yeah, and I'm a little nervous about Chicago. There's so much going on in there. They've been calling it Chiraq. And I have been going to visit people in my family in Minnesota. And they were like, oh, Chicago, we can't go to Chicago no more ever, no, never again. And I'm like, well, why? Oh, don't you know about all violence? And I'm like, what violence? And I mean, I knew about the violence, but it seemed to not be anything out of the ordinary that I hadn't heard before. And so they were suggesting that it had somehow gotten worse. And then I realized I had not been paying so much attention to it that I started paying more attention to it. And yes, they were right. They were right. The killings had gone up. The black men are killing the black men like they are just all dogs attacking each other. There go one dog, there's another dog. Let's have a dog fight. It's my God. Anyway, Chicago has got the label Chiraq. We got to do something about that. Who or what is allowing all of this craziness to take place? What do you think?
Well, personally, I think that the guns have been brought into the community. I believe that they're being strategically placed in certain communities, and I personally believe that the idea of is, well, let them kill themselves. We don't have to do it. Let them kill themselves. There have been numerous instances throughout history where this sort of thing has been done, and I'm thinking right now about the Tuskegee incident. When they injected those black men with syphilis and various illnesses, I believe it was, and they monitored them over a number of years and never told them that this is going on. Blacks people, we're not making the guns. Okay, we're not importing the guns. They're being brought in and put into our community. Now, I don't have a way to cite what I'm about to say. I heard this, that some of these guns were coming from somewhere else in the world and ending up in Chicago. And I find it extremely interesting that the one train car that was going through Inglewood, where all these guns were, somehow they knew which train car to rob to get them.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't know. It would seem that there had to be some inside information somewhere. Some kind of inside contact. Some kind of, definitely. And so there you have it. But, for a long time, what I've prayed for and what I have written up a program, I haven't done anything with it yet though, but it was to recondition our children to understand and value life, not just human life, but all life. And we attempt to do this in schools when we have the rabbits in the classroom, and the, the turtles, and this sort of thing, and we study them. We attempt to do that, but we need a more direct, sociable approach to the value of all life. So that is what needs to be being taught to our children, all children, the white children, the black children, the Indian children, all of the children, that all life has value. When you have the Titanic situation, and they were like, okay, all the rich people get off the boat first, and and we don't, the rich people can't be too crowded in the boat, so we can only put 30 or so people in there so they can have room to spread about, and all those other folks who can't, if they don't get on a boat, it's just too bad, kind of attitude. And I'm sure they were going, what about my life? My life has value. And of course their life had value, but they still perished. They perished along with many others. I don't know how many rich folk died in that situation, but it was just a sad thing to see that. And of course back then, I guess that was the real approach to everything, the classism that they just threw out there in a life and death situation.
One rich person that was on the Titanic was J.J. Astor. He died on the Titanic. Had a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Of the Astor family.
Yeah. So, but do we know if he died because he didn't get to a boat, or if he died because he just succumbed to the water? We don't know that. I say he just succumbed to the water and they didn't get to him.
Well, they all had to succumb to the water.
Right, yeah, but I'm saying, you see, most of the rich people got on the boat, so I'm like, why he didn't get his chance? And then they said, well, that's just my example. But anyways, and I love all people, and I want to value all life. And yeah, there's some people out there who are crazy, and there's some people out there who do things, and yes, they need to be controlled, and they need their medication, or they need to be locked away, or whatever their situation is. But if we, like they're studying people now who do these types of things and trying to figure out what caused it. You need not look too far to learn that it was society and childhood. Really. And then also the fact that maybe they are just crazy and was off the medication. But nevertheless, Chiraq, no. Chicago. It's Chicago. It's not Chiraq, people. Let's love and spread love, and let's stop the killing and the violence and the, let's just have a love fest. Can we do that? I don't think it'll hurt anything. I really don't. So that's how I feel. Anyways, that does it for this segment of Spiritually Intriguing, the Church Edition. Thanks for watching.